All right, everyone. Welcome to OI Masterclass. I am Camille Miller. And today we are talking about ethical collaborations, how to build partnerships aligned with your mission. The reason I am talking about this today is because business is all about conversations and the connections we make. And I think more and more we are going to see entrepreneurship a big part of our future. I think is already a big part, but a big part of our future is going to be entrepreneurship, but it's going to be across borders, right? And across industries where we're going to be working with each other. So collaboration is how most of us will move forward. And I'll use a lot of my own business collaborations and own examples so you understand what I'm talking about. You are welcome to talk at any time, ask questions. You can raise your hand. You can use the chat. I'll read it along the way. I do watch it as I go. Sometimes there's more of you along the top of the Zoom. So raise your hand if I don't see you, right? So that's a good way for me to see you, or of course you can use the chat. So the first thing I always like to open up the class is just talking about what made you want to take this class today. You can either talk if you feel comfortable enough to talk, or you can write it in the chat, but it helps me design the class more for you, just for showing up. So they are interactive for the people that shows up. They are replays for the people that watch them on YouTube later. Anything that you really want to cover today or made you say, yes, I am definitely going to this masterclass because this is something I have to learn? Anybody? Nobody just wanted to see my face? Relationships are the foundation of business. That is absolutely true. All right, anyone else?
Surely. So, as I mentioned the other day, Camille, when we connected, just the topic, our business is founded around partnerships. So I was excited to see it and wanted to see and learn, see what it was all about. So I said, sign me up.
Good. Thank you for coming. All right, we will jump right in then. And at any time, if I'm talking and you have questions, just write in the chat or raise your hand, and we're happy to talk and go off into tangents because this is just an experience. So ethical collaborations, and I think it's really important to put the word ethical there. And one of the things that we look at, because as you know, I'm building the soul professional empire, and I'm a big part of the movement. But as we collaborate with people all over the world, I have to look at them and say, is this someone that my brand wants to collaborate with, right? Is this a corporation? Because I have found, as I've built my community over 10 years, that a lot of people want to jump into my community or do affiliates with me or have some type of collaboration with me because I command a big audience, right? But those brands or people or businesses, I don't necessarily want to attach my name to. So for me, it's about, do these people follow my core values, right? Are they people that I want to attach my brand to, especially now that we're doing affiliates? When we're looking for affiliates and people that I represent, there's a large community that follow me. And if I'm promoting somebody, I have to have a lot of faith that that's a good person and the brand that I want to follow, because the people that follow me are going to listen and then go over there, right? So to me, that's an ethical issue that I have, and I have a responsibility to my audience and my community to make sure I vetted everybody, right? So ethical is a big part of my brand. Because we're all trying to be soul professionals in the world. That's why we're here, right? And a big part of the soul professional movement is a collaboration of people that have the same core values all over the world. So that's why we have everyone sign a pledge, and that's why we're building the directory, so we can all do business with each other and have this micro economy between all of us, right? So it's about promoting people that have the same core values as I have, as you have, that we all have, and that we're all signing a pledge to have it, right? So core values is a big part of ethical collaborations. Like for me, it's belongingness, it's safety, it's purpose beyond profit, So those are some of my core values. So when I'm looking to partner with someone else or have a collaboration, I want to make sure that they have their same core values. Does that make sense? So ethical, we'll put at the top of this about you want to make sure someone is aligned with you when we start this. All right. So collaboration in general is a very powerful tool in business, particularly for sole-led entrepreneurs. For what I talked about before, just exchanging resources, aligning your values, your missions, your long-term vision. You want to make sure that you're all going in the same direction. And these are the collaborations that last for years. I'm still doing work with people that I met 10 years ago in my community, right? Because we have the same core values and we tend to go in that same direction or have that same vision. When you're looking even for business partnerships, right? I just spoke to someone who broke up a business partnership. And when I asked why, they said, well, I really wanted to stay small and in a tighter community that's more around my values. And their partner really wanted world domination, like big way scale, which takes a lot more work, right? So they had to dissolve that partnership, or actually one partner bought the other one out. But that was a big part of long-term goals, right? When you're looking to partner with anyone, I don't care if it's a full business, if it's just a program that maybe you have, it could be a retreat, it could be a mastermind, whatever you're partnering with someone, you want to make sure that you're both on the same page, that you both want to bring it to wherever you want to bring it, right? And that you both have all the same values going forward and the same vision of what you're going to do. So that's a big part of it. Sometimes it goes way beyond logistics. It could be even be with the time that you're putting into a partnership, or it could be the value you're taking out of the partnership. Like, where do all of those leads go? Do you share the leads? Do you split the leads? Are you both taking the leads and spamming people all the time? Like, what is it that you want to do? And to be as transparent as possible. So when I think of collaborations that small solo entrepreneurs can do, I'm thinking if you're, say, a coach, like we'll use me, I'm a business coach. I'm a business strategist, really. I'm not a long-term coach. So when I'm looking to partner with someone or have collaborations, it's usually around business somewhere, right? But a big part is also mindset. I don't really do basic mindset work, but I know great people that do. And we work with the same people. So that's a great partner for me, because when people want to work with me, but they haven't done the inner work yet, I can say, hey, go work with this person first. And when you graduate that program, then maybe you're ready for mine, right? Or if that someone is ready to build a business that just came out of a mindset program, they can refer them into me. Right? Some collaborations have referral fees, affiliate fees, some don't, right? There's people that I recommend all the time because they're great at what they do, and I share their work with others, right? When I'm on a podcast, I'll share podcast opportunities with other people. Or if there's a host that I particularly like, I will share and tell people, this is a really good host, why don't you go over here? Right? So those are all collaborations, no matter what, right? But you want to usually do a collaboration if you're a solo, right? You're looking for work. You want to do a collaboration with someone that has the same core people, but they're early in their journey or you're after in their journey. Does that make sense? Like when I talk about a mindset coach, right? That would be early in my client's journey. They usually do mindset work, inner work before they get to me. So knowing a lot of people that do that type of work is smart for me, right? Can they come to me? But after me, I can scale people solo, probably usually under 5 people are the size of businesses I'm doing, up to $1 million, right? But when people start to hit 1 million or start to get bigger staffs, like I would say usually over 5 people, depends what these people are doing, right? And they need operations and they need systems and they need all of that. I don't particularly care for that work. So I partner with strategists that are really good at that, or can take someone from 5 million to 10 million, right? I don't like that kind of work, so I don't do it, right? So that's someone that I can refer to. So you always want to know who's before you, who's after you. And then you have what I call power partnerships, right? You're spinning people back and forth to each other. So people are feeding in and out. There was, I teach a business accelerator, and there was one class I had that every single person there came from one person that referred into me. Now, she didn't refer them for that class, but that's where they all ended up. So then I realized, oh, I should really start paying this person because they don't know it, but they're bringing all of these people in and I'm turning them over into a very expensive program. So let me offer that partnership to them, right? Because then they really want to send more people to me most of the time, right? Or do something else. So I love the idea of people benefiting from partnerships, right? Those are, I still call them power partners, affiliates. As we grow as a company and the sole professional movement, we're actually looking for affiliate partners. Who can we put our name behind? Who can we trust? Who can we do this with? So those are our collaborations we're looking for. Another way to collaborate is if you speak is to switch communities. Like if you run a community, you can speak in someone else's community, right? And that's how you can share communities or share your voice or share your expertise. That person can come into your community, you can go to that community, but those are all collaborations because you're giving to someone else, right? I just spoke to another community leader and they were looking for business help. And I said, you know, I have a free YouTube channel where I put all of my basic business. Why don't you just share the whole playlist with your community, right? That's an easy way to do it. I was like, then you don't have to do any of it. And I don't have to show up in your community either. You can just go over there or invite your people. My stuff is free. So you can just share my free stuff with your people, right? So there's ways of collaborating just to share your voice, share your experience, and you never know what's going to happen. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions up to now? So do any of you already have some of these collaborations or have worked with collaborations or things that work? Christy, I know you have some great collaborations going now. I've talked in Sheila's group before. Yeah. And I will mention, if anyone wants to talk, you can, but finding these power partnerships aren't always easy. Right. And you'll probably, what they say, like kiss a lot of toads along the way. Like they don't always work well. Right. As I'm growing the soul professional movement, which has been around for 5 years, we're just relaunching it now because I want to do it in collaboration. I started to put together a global leadership team. So I put an invitation out to like 25 people that have global networks and global collaborations and said, do you want to be part of this leadership? Because this is going to grow with everyone else. It's a co-creation. I'm not doing it alone. I'm not sure how it's all going to look. I had this bigger vision, but I can't get there alone. So who wants to? All 25 said yes. That was a little bit of a shocker, but all 25 said yes. And we were having our first meeting tonight. So we'll see where that goes. But I got to a place where I'm not going to do this alone anymore. It's going to be a collaboration. How it all plays out, I don't know. But I do know that there'll be bigger global conversations and things going on because of the people that I'm collaborating with, right? And I'm sure if they step up and champion things, they will get lots of work out of it. And that's okay. I'm okay to use my community to highlight other people in the world that are doing good things, right? Because my mission is to help other people get their gifts to the world. That's my mission. How it's not, let me make a lot of money along the way. Right. So I believe that if I'm helping other people, I believe in the pay it forward. It will come back to me. I don't have to worry about it. Right. As we build the global school, I started building it around me and I said, this doesn't feel good. there's a lot of great educators out there. Let me build a global model so we can share it with everybody. So a lot of where I'm going is collaboration. And I think figuring out these collaborations for yourself are really, really important. I don't know how big any of your companies are, but as you start to get really big, if you want to, not everyone I work with actually wants to get big. But I'm actually speaking to like venture capitalists, like think of Shark Tank, like for service orient, like because there's a whole tech side that I want to build out and I don't have the know-how or the money, right? So I'm looking at who can I pitch and talk to? And if I pitch to enough people, I might find a good partnership. I might not, right? Then I won't give up my trademark, but I might, right? If I can be in a collaboration with someone that can bring me further, right? If I'm sure many of you have watched the show Shark Tank, right? It's founders that had terrific ideas and visions, usually for a product. This isn't a product, but it works the same way. And they brought the company as far as they could bring it, right? Or they've done the prototypes or they've tested markets, but they don't have the know-how to bring it further, right? All of the money, if someone just handed me hundreds of thousands of dollars, I couldn't get it any further, right? Because it's not about the money, it's about people that have specialized knowledge that I need to know next. Does that make sense? And that's why people go on Shark Tank, right? Sometimes they're not looking for the money, they're looking for the expertise. And if they don't make a deal there, sometimes they're okay because they've gotten their word out and they get orders anyway, right? That's like kind of like a double-edged sword for Shark Tank. But it's really about the collaborations. Collaborations can also be through getting on podcasts or writing articles on Substack. I just started a newsletter on LinkedIn, right? Those are all collaborations. You can do things with groups. You can do things by yourself that feed into something, but collaborations is big. It's not just a single route of doing things. It's about having a lot of different joint ventures or partnerships or even networking groups, right? There's networking groups that are really, really strong that can help people move. Like if you've been to our networking, sometimes there's 15 people there, sometimes there's 35 people there. Every month it's a little bit different. Different people are coming in and coming out, but who's supposed to be there is exactly who's supposed to be there. And there has been unbelievable collaborations that have come out of our networking group. It's because they're the same core values and usually the same end client, right? You wouldn't be attracted to me if you didn't have the same client or weren't that same person, right? So we all generally share that exact same client, usually logically brained, spiritually led, right? And usually in midlife, although that's getting younger and younger today, so I can't really say that anymore. But we all have logical brains. We have spiritual sides. I'm more introverted, but I know some of you are extroverted. But we usually get validation from the inside, not the outside. And that's some of our differences. Any questions? Are any of you guys in collaborations right now that are either working or not working?
Not yet,
Jason?
building a couple out.
Camille, we've never formally spoken before, but my partner Veronica is in your collective.
Oh, yes. Hello, Jason.
Okay, so I'm marketing director for Wanderlust Studios.
Mhm.
So we are in collaboration with a couple of partners, but I am looking to expand that as much as possible. So
Yeah, beautiful. Welcome too.
thank you.
Yeah. Your model is actually a beautiful model of collaboration, which is how the three of us have kind of come together, build something bigger, right? And that's can I share your model or the idea of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Jason's part of a marketing agency, which started as three solopreneurs, and let me know if I get it wrong. Three solo solopreneurs that were each doing their own thing. One was doing marketing, one was doing like cybersecurity, I believe, and Veronica that does the branding piece. And they started to come together to help, or they were hiring each other out to do different aspects of like a client package. And now they're coming together to form an agency model where they're all coming together. So you're buying into that whole piece. And that is a scalable model, because many times as solopreneurs, we can't do it all, right? I don't do product, I don't do operations, right? I work with the design, and I don't do long-term coaching, to be honest. I do my masterminds. And I guess that is coaching, but I do uh, what's it called? The hybrid model. I don't do long-term coaching one-on-one. One, doesn't light me up inside. But two, I think people learn more in a group, right? So my masterminds are a group, but they can also work with me one-on-one to fine tune whatever they're doing and keep their growth. That's what works for me, right? But along the way, I can call in other experts, right? We also go through books and stuff. So it's easy for me to call in other experts. And the fact that their industries are all over the place, my clients tend to hire each other to do work for each other. And I tend to hire my own clients as well because we know our work so well. But Jason's model is a fabulous model of how 3 solopreneurs came together to create something much bigger. And now they're expanding that, and which you'll learn if you've ever expanded is a different business model than who you were as a solo. It's figuring out how do you expand, each hold your personalities, who's in control, how do you, right, different boundaries, different contracts, how does everyone get paid so it's fair? Lots of different things.
That's the one thing we're working on right now is creating a legal framework for us to work all together. We're bringing on a copywriter as well, and Veronica hired her creative assistant. So we're bringing on assistants help currently as well.
Yeah, I mean, fabulous. And the only place to go is up. Growing pains are hard for everybody, right? And as you're probably learning now, as I learned earlier, that when you start to bring on help and all of a sudden you're responsible for all those paychecks, it's scary, right? Because you have to make so much more to cover everybody.
Yeah, you're no longer working for yourself. You're working to
Yes.
create work for other people. So
Yep.
it's
And you have to be really careful about in case someone wants to break a contract, or say one of your assistants leaves, but they took care of something, right? Having those procedures somewhere, right? We talk about a lot about that in my higher masterminds, because you're running a company now, which is a lot different than a solopreneurship, right? And then how do you start to gradually move out of that? Awesome. Thank you, Jason, for sharing. All right, we're getting back to collaborations. Any other thoughts, or did anyone else have anything to share on their own collaborations? What's worked, what hasn't worked? Christy, do you have something? You just unmuted.
Yeah, and I always bring the energy aspect. I think it's interesting how we all have a unique way of like attracting collaborations, or even say manifesting them, because like I have done so amazing in the groups that you bring together, Camille, because I naturally am a networker. Like it's a connecting is part of my human design. So I think for some people, they may be introverted or feel that they don't have that same, like networking is more of like a learned skill. But that might mean that they have a really good skill doing research online, or doing, like you said, more one-on-one rather than group. So I think that's really important to like honor how your energy shows up and what you've seen the patterns. My question is like, what I found, if you could share a little bit more, when collaborations aren't working or they just naturally shift. I know I have um, a group, and by the way, when I brought people together to do one of my collaborative programs, we tested it out. Four of us who are co-facilitators, we were the guinea pigs among ourselves, and then we
Okay.
opened it up to others. But you know, things also shift, and it's curious, like you said, that somebody uh, let go of a collaboration because there was different visions. But finding like that point when you know that things are shifting, like, you know, any advice around that or anything around, um, do you shift with the collaboration versus letting it go? I'm just curious your opinion and to talk more about that.
So it's different with every collaboration, right? Sometimes you shift with it because we all grow. We all grow. What I did 10 years ago, I don't really do now, but my vision is the same, but I'm different. I've grown, right? I can talk on things that I couldn't talk about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I couldn't help $1 million company. Today I can, right? It's really where each of the people in that collaboration start. It's like a marriage, right? When you get married, you're feeling pretty damn good. Right? You go through that honeymoon period and everything is wonderful. And maybe you ignore a lot of red flags. But over the years, the decades or time, it might not work out. Maybe as children come in or your jobs change or parents, like all of these things happen because life happens, right? And then all of a sudden you're looking at a divorce and you're like, how do I split this all up? Right? We didn't talk about it ahead of time. We didn't see it coming. So collaborations, partnerships, they all work exactly the same. Exactly the same. So if it feels good, then you go with it. If it doesn't feel good, then you stop it, right? I think beta testing things is really good. I love that you guys tested it on your own. You saw what happened. I actually love the model that you're doing. I'm assuming you're still doing it. It was a beautiful model. And then maybe, I don't actually know what's happening in Christy's thing, but maybe one person goes, I'm going to go out on my own and do this, right? And then that breaks it down to the three that are left continue. Do you get someone else to come in? Does that feel the same? Like, and it's constantly evolving. Partnerships are always evolving, and that's okay. We're always evolving. Our companies are always evolving. Like everything around us is changing. Right now, the economics right now are just changing all over the world. It's not just the US. I don't know where everyone's from, but all over the world, the economic conditions are changing. So we're seeing lots of changes in different businesses. And I'm working with a lot of clients with what do we put out there now? How do we change? How do we differentiate? Right? Do we have a loss leader, which is a product or a package that you put out, not always for its value, but to get people into your pipeline, right? That's a loss leader. I think those are used a little bit more. So things change with time. I don't know what else more I can say about that. You have to just see if they still follow your values, right? If it doesn't fit, don't try to make it fit, right? I started a membership 10 years ago. I closed it at the end of 2024 because it just no longer went where I was going, right? I like it. We may bring one back under the movement. I don't know, but I know it's not going to be just me. I might collaborate and do things with other people to bring something back, but I took the pieces that I loved, like my What's Working call and my mastermind out of that. And I spun off my own. I have 2 masterminds now. And one still has the same name, what works, what doesn't, and why. Right? I love it. It's easy. And then I have a higher end one where people have more of my time. So I took what I liked and I spun it off. Right? So I could still work with the things that I liked, but there was other things that I didn't like and I got rid of those. Right? So you should always shed what doesn't serve you, just in any area of business. If it no longer makes your heart sing, let it go. Just let it go. I hope that answers your question. Does anyone else have any other questions around collaborations? So one question I get a lot is, how do we start collaborations? If you want to collaborate or don't want to collaborate, don't even know how you could collaborate. A lot of times it happens just in conversation. I actually have people call me all the time, but I had someone call me last week. Another community leader that leads differently than I do, but I definitely respect her community. It's just different than what I do. And we actually, just spilled coffee. We actually refer back and forth to each other all the time. Like if I'm on a good podcast, I get her on the podcast. If I find something good, I get her on the, right? We do the same work, but our clients are slightly different. So we don't tend to bring in the same people, even though we do very similar work. It's not exact. But she called me and said, hey, I want to talk about collaborations and things we can do together. I immediately thought, I don't think we're going to be good collaboration partners because we don't approach work in the same way, right? I have a very soulful approach. She does not. Good person, good human, good hearted. I'm not saying it's not, it's a different approach than how I approach things, where I'm more of it, does it feel good in our bodies? Do we want to go forward with this? She's more, let's just keep our foot on the gas and keep going if it feels good or not. We have a different approach to work. And what she was looking for was to pay a coach to come into her community to teach business and strategy, because that is not her strength at all. She's like, I really don't know business strategy, and that's what people are asking for right now. So will you come in, because I want to keep my brand? And I went, this isn't a call for me, because I'm not going to leave my brand to work into your in your brand, right? I was like, there could have been something to do together, but I honestly don't think there is something that we can do together. But why I'm sharing this is at the end, she said, when I decide to do something, I just keep having conversations until I find the other piece of my puzzle, right? So if there's something that you're feeling, right? I'm talking to a lot of venture capitalists right now with the Soul Professional movement, because there will need to be a big tech build out to do what I want to do in the world. I can't do it. So I have to have a lot of those conversations and know, what is that piece? Who is going to fit that piece? Are they aligned with who I am? And I will have a lot of conversations, but the first thing I do is put it out there. Just keep putting it out into the world. And then someone will be like, hey, wait, I know someone. Let me introduce you to this person, right? And that may or may not work, right? I have this other couple. They're two people that work together. They are not an actual couple, that want me to be a third of their collaboration. And no matter how many times we speak, I keep going, I don't know. I don't think I'm a good fit with these people. But I keep going to all of the meetings in case at one point something brilliant comes up, but I'm not feeling it. They are both highly regarded. They both have huge followings. Like the numbers on paper make sense. I don't think our philosophies match, right? I don't know where it's going, but it's about having conversations all the time. Just have conversations. I think in the future, I'm thinking of bringing people in to actually teach classes or masterminds. One, because that's my favorite thing to do. But like I said, there's other pieces of business that are important, like the mindset, or like Christy does human design. Like those are all part of business that could come into a bigger program, right? So it's about having those conversations and seeing what's possible. It's keeping the eyes open for everything that is possible. Because sometimes someone will come up with something that you did not think of. You didn't think of at all. Or just holding the idea of possibility out there. I had a podcast for 9 seasons. I closed it at the end of last year. I loved doing the interviews. It just did not make fiscal sense to me to keep that going, because it took a lot of my time, a lot of my energy, a lot of my money, and I never monetized it. So if I was going in the direction of monetization, I had to let go of other things to put all of my energy into that, right? And I decided not to do that, but to take an entire year and be on other people's podcasts, sorry. Right. So that's what I'm doing this whole year. I'm just on other people's podcasts. I'm speaking in other people's communities, and I'm going to do that for a year. But as I'm doing that, I'm like, God, I love podcasting. I love deeper conversations. So I'm kind of putting out into the world, like, what if I had a podcasting partner and I just had to show up and talk? Like the rest of it was taken care of, or we figured out how to monetize it or did something else, right? Maybe I would do that. And I don't know if I would do interviews all the time, but maybe we would just have discussion. And I know it would be something around spirituality meets business. You know, I think that's a big conversation to have. I think a lot of people are having it right now, right? But there's also a lot of podcasts. So all I can do is put that out into the world and say, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, right? But that is a possible collaboration. But the point is that sometimes people come up with things that you never thought of, or they see you in a place that you never thought of. And you're like, huh, okay. Someone just asked me to speak on a stage, a rather large stage. I said yes before I actually even knew who I was in front of. On Corporate to Calling, which is one of my online programs. And I was like, huh, I never spoke on this before. And then someone else asked me to speak on that. And I was like, oh, maybe this is a direction I'm supposed to go in. And I didn't know, because so many people are going through layoffs right now. The group I'm speaking to next week is actually a group of women CEOs across the country. And I guess maybe they're doing lots of layoffs or something, but they felt it was really important to come in and talk about their next chapter, right? So I was like, oh, okay, maybe that is something I'm supposed to be talking about. I don't know. I'm just reading the chat real fast. All right, someone just asked me, what experiences have you encountered when SMBs struggle to grasp the value of partnerships that corporate America has leveraged for years? What's SMBs? Small businesses, I take it.
Small, medium business, yeah.
Oh, media. Okay. I was like, okay. So I think for most founders, right? Mostly I work with founders. It's hard to give up control, right? It's hard for people to step back to let other people lead. It's hard to cooperate because we haven't done that well in the schoolyard, right? Where corporations are doing that all the time because they're taking their strengths and doing more. But remember, corporations aren't people. So their emotional capability is much different. They're just taking like, I'm really good at this and you're really good at this. Let's put it together and let's make a lot of money, right? We have to put our own control to the side to be able to make good collaborations, because collaboration is collaborative. It's not controlling, right? It's knowing what you're really good at and where the other person should lead, right? And as very small businesses, solos, it's really hard for us to give up control. It's hard for us to delegate. So that's where we find the trouble to cooperate or to have these collaborations, right? When I started the Soul Professional Movement and the Natural Life Business Partnership, I was thinking, well, I'll just do this. I'll just do it. Now I did it 10 years pretty well, right? But now I know in this next chapter, it has to be collaborative to go to the level that I need it to be. I can't get it there myself, right? And that's why I've called on these other leaders. Now at this meeting tonight, which we haven't had yet, I bet people are going to come up with all sorts of new ideas that I never thought of, right? It's my job to be open to it, right? Open to what's possible, which a lot of times we shut that down. We don't think what's possible, or we start right away if that's not possible. I could never do that, right? It's about being in these bigger collaborations. I'm in rooms now that I never thought was possible. I'm getting introductions to things I never thought was possible. And that's the expectations that we think of ourselves, like they're limiting beliefs actually, right? Yeah, so hopefully that answered. I'm reading through some of my notes. Building trust and integrity, that was one part. The importance of trust and accountability, integrity when you're meeting with others or bringing people in, like Jason's model, like an agency model. You all have to have the same idea of what you're bringing to the table for your client, right? That bar of excellence has to be the same for all of you. If someone's doing crappy work and two people are doing really good work at the highest level, there's going to be a problem there, right? Because one, your clients are always going to complain about this one area, right? So you have to make sure that you're all showing up with that same level of integrity towards your business. It's also really important when you're in collaborations. I find this with volunteers a lot. Because it's not your primary thing, like, or say you're doing a package with someone, right? But you still have your whole business. They give less of themselves to whatever the collaboration is instead of being equally awesome at that, right? It's showing up less because you're collaborating, right? It's like group projects in school, right? There were always people that didn't show up and do the work. So you have to be really careful about who you're collaborating with and how you are showing up, because it's really about co-creation. It's about the two of you bringing the parties and of your strengths together. So it's really important to have the conversation of what I'm not good at, what I don't like to do, right? I don't like math. I don't like finance. Do I understand it? Yes, very well. But I don't like the detail pieces of it. I am not going to practice very much before I show up because I like to talk off the cuff. I always have like talking points, like I'm looking at talking points when I talk to you, but they don't actually say what I'm going to say, right? It's just like, oh, make sure you hit these 10 points as you're doing your talk today. Right. So that's the way I show up. If I'm working with partners that are very detailed or telling me that I have to go to practice rounds and I have to practice, it's not going to work for me at all, because that's just not how I work. It's not how I show up. Right. If it's important to you, that's good for you, but I'm not going to show up that way. Right. It's not what I do. I'm looking at my talking points. Ethical partnerships are supposed to benefit both parties. We've talked about that. If there is ever challenges or conflicts, instead of when they arise, just not working through them, it's important to talk about it right away and how you're going to work through it or not work through it, right? Because you don't know what the other person is feeling, but if you're showing up in this bad vibration, that's coming through. I'm all about vibration, right? So if you're not showing up whole, that's going to shine through in your work. And it's really important that you're showing up whole. And it doesn't always have to be long-term. I think that's what's really important. It could just be like one package, one program, one thing. And it could be as easy as just making referrals back and forth to each other. And it doesn't have to have a financial component to it. It could, right? I believe that when you give, you get, right? But you don't give to get from that same person. It's kind of like a pay it forward. If you're just putting out good vibrations in the world and helping people and being supportive and being heart-centered and giving, that energy comes back to you. That's the way I believe it. And that's the way I look at collaborations. And that's the importance of building a network of partners that are always working for you, have the same shared values. And that's about it for ethical collaborations. Because we are all soul aligned, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't, it's really important to also see that in all of your partnerships and collaborations, right? If that's where you're coming from, your people have to also come from there, right? And there's different things you can look at. I know I'm a visionary, which some of you probably are if you're in this room. I can hold a vision, but I don't know all of the details to get there, right? I know it kind of has to be done, right? I could go figure it out, but I really don't want to. So, you know, a lot of times when we're starting businesses, we're doing a lot of stuff we don't really want to do, right? We do it till we don't have to do it anymore. But I have learned by hiring the wrong people, which is literally a collaboration too, right? Hiring the wrong people, that it didn't make me stronger when you hire other visionaries, right? A number two has to be, for me, has to be very detailed so I can just brain dump. And I do, I brain dump all day long. And my team has to kind of fix it, like put it all together and be like, you know, you talked about this 2 weeks ago. Is this a project, or like, are we working on this today? So my main operations person just literally starts every day with, what are we trying to achieve today? Like, what is on your mind today? Right? Because I'm like, just stop doing that. Let's go over here. And I do that. But I also need a team that's able to do that with me. Right? So I know I need very detailed or people to join my team and be a part of it. I know that they have to grasp what I'm doing. I've hired many, many people in my life, especially marketing teams, that didn't get the concept of who I am and what I was trying to do. Now I know enough how to talk about that. But I always thought very early that they knew better than I did. Like maybe I had it wrong and they knew me better. That did not prove to be true. But now I know who I am, right? And I can hold my own boundaries. And I can talk about what I do. And I know when I'm looking for someone that they have to be as soul aligned as I am, right? So now I know that they're probably in my community, right? Don't go outside of my community. I had to learn that, but that's important for your collaborations. All right. Any questions before we wrap up today? No questions. Was this helpful? Do you think you have a better understanding about collaborations? We see some nods, so I guess that's good. Yeah. I feel like collaborations is a big part going forward. And that's one of the reasons that this was on the schedule. Because I just don't believe we're going to be solo, right? Because when you're in solo, you're working in your ego, right? When you're working from soul, you're working in collaboration and nurturing. So I believe that you have to have these collaborative pieces and relationships to go forward in a soul-aligned business, right? They're important. But even our networking and being in the same rooms is collaborating, right? Showing up, having one-on-ones, that's collaboration. And just having conversation about what is possible. What's possible, right? Or having conversations and saying, how could we collaborate? How can we work better? Or how can I support you? Who do you need to know? Right? But you should also have that answer for yourself when you're talking to someone. Always have the answer when they ask you, how can I support you? Who do you need to know? Make sure you have that answer. Right? For me, it's like, I'm trying to get on podcasts. Do you know any hosts? Do you know any shows? Can you make an introduction? So know what that is. I'm all talked out. Do you guys have any other questions? You're welcome, Chrissy. All right, that's all I got. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear. Do any of you feel that you're going to go off and make some collaborative calls, collaborations? Yeah, at least in the power partner, everyone can do that. Know who's before you, know who's after you, know who also works with your clients in some aspect of it, right? If you're a social media person, maybe you know a copywriter, you know, I don't know what you're all doing, but you know, so you have those different aspects. And don't be afraid of people that have the same title and do the same work as you, because you may find that they do it differently. And those are always good people to know in your network. All right, that's all I got. hopefully all you guys will join us in networking. We do that the third Tuesday of every month, but June, we're doing it the second Tuesday because I will be in France on the third Tuesday. So we're doing the second Tuesday in June, but you can check out our schedule. We always have these master classes the fourth Thursday of every single month. They're live. And of course, we have them on our YouTube channel. And hopefully you guys have all went and signed the pledge for the Soul Professional Movement and become a part of our network. We will be creating a directory of all people that have signed that pledge. So we can help each other rise and support each other and use our own economy within the Soul Professional Movement to help you. All right, that's all I got. Bye, everyone.